and I thought that was a shot across the bow that was going to move him. And then, Jonathan Lemire, you go to the Michigan certification where one Republican voted to do his job and certify the vote and pretty much guaranteed that, at least for another presidential election, we just might follow the Constitution of the United States of America, and left the president backed further into a corner.
That's right, Joe. The pressure obviously had been building here immensely on the White House for weeks, particularly in recent days, as more and more of their court challenges were not just ended in defeat, but did so in humiliating fashion. And the final pieces, as people close to the president told me, were exactly this: growing voices from Republicans, the business leaders, also saying it was time to move on. The White House had put so much hope in Michigan. Let's remember, some of these Republican officials were at the White House at the end of last week in an attempt to try to change their mind. That didn't work. And then we have, of course, the GSA. And Emily Murphy finally going ahead and giving the okay to the ascertainment of this transition. Although it should be noted, she did so in a letter which largely condemned the media coverage of herself, and she never uses the phrase president-elect in order to describe Joe Biden. And also within the president's inner circle. In the last couple of days, two distinct things happened. Some of his advisors, Pat Cipollone, the White House counsel, Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, suggested to him in a series of meetings that it was indeed time to start cooperating with the transition, that he never had to say that he was going to concede, and that he could, in fact, still fight some of you with these legal challenges, but they had to give the okay that the behind-the-scenes work begin. And also, it's the president, as we reported today, again, growing angry and frustrated with Rudy Giuliani, who he is indeed still talking to, but told people around him in recent days that he felt like Giuliani had oversold his legal case, that the president was humiliated by watching Giuliani on stage last week in that news conference with the hair dye streaking down his face, and then equally is upset when a conservative Pennsylvania judge tossed out with prejudice the Trump legal team's case over the weekend, sort of closing that avenue as well. And he recognized that there was really no Hail Mary coming here, and told people around him that he was angry at Giuliani that he had led him down this path.
Yeah, can I ask you this? It's interesting. We talked before about Giuliani wanting to be Secretary of State, and the president even recognizing 4 years ago that Giuliani had lost a step or two. We now have the president of the United States coming to the realization that Rudy Giuliani led him down a path that was a dead end side road, and so now he's feeling humiliated because of that. I find that fascinating because it was really Giuliani. When the history books are written, it's Giuliani that's going to be blamed for being largely responsible for prodding and pushing Donald Trump into doing things in Ukraine that led to his impeachment. He certainly must understand that but for Giuliani, he wouldn't have been impeached. But for Giuliani's flying around to Ukraine back and forth, giving him false information, that he would. I mean, certainly advisors around Donald Trump pin much of the blame for impeachment on Rudy Giuliani. And now the same here. You just wonder how many times can Donald Trump listen to Rudy Giuliani's advice?
The thing that Trump cherishes and prizes most of all among his aides is the willingness to go on TV to defend him. That's what many people close to him have said to me over the years. And Giuliani does do that. He did so in 2016. He did so most notably during the Russia probe, during the Mueller case. And it's been people close to the president say that, yes, that Trump has awareness that Giuliani led him astray during Ukraine. But that is still, to this point, overshadowed by the sense from the president that Giuliani did him some good in the Russia probe, that he was able, with his fog machine, to confuse the issues and deliver attacks on Mueller that seemed to, at least temporarily, undermine the special counsel's credibility. So to this point, the president was willing to keep him in the orbit, and we saw, of course, the role that Giuliani played in the stretch run of this campaign, peddling baseless conspiracy theories about Joe Biden and his son, Hunter. So he's not quite willing to cut him free just yet, Joe, but certainly frustrated with recent days. And as a final point, what we saw yesterday, that tweet we should not expect a concession, a full-fledged concession from this president, even as he agrees to go along with this transition. As one advisor put it to me late last night, that tweet, probably the closest we'll ever get.